to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
What up, what up? Welcome to another live edition of the Narrative Podcast. And I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome anybody new and unfamiliar with me or my platform this evening. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, reciprocity, and positive frames of reference. So, it is Wednesday, hump day. We made it over the hump. Weekend right around the corner. Still a few more days, shopping days left for the people that celebrate this holiday. Spoiler alert, going to be talking a little bit about that later on in the segment. But yeah, welcome to the Narrative Podcast. So my narrators, they already know the demonstration. They already know what it is I do here and why I do it. But for those that are unfamiliar with me and my platform, I'll give you a brief overview before diving into the content this evening. But before that, just had a recent death in Hollywood. Our brother passed away. I wasn't obviously airing an episode, so this is a belated condolences because he passed away on the 11th. So before we dive into the content, we're just going to take a little brief moment of silence to give to the actor Andre Brower. He died on the 11th. Cause of death has not been released yet. But, yeah, he was a really dynamic actor, played a whole lot of roles. He's been acting really since the late 70s, got his big break in the 80s. I think his breakout role that he got was Glory, opposite Denzel Washington. On television, you know, he's did a lot of cop shows. His most recent one, a show on NBC. I forget the title of it, but it aired every week. Airing every week because it's still on the air. I don't know how they're going to address his passing in the show. But yeah, he was a police captain on that show. But he's had a whole lot of work. He's also did a whole lot of animated cartoon voices as well in his career. And so, you know, he's just a craftsman dedicated to the craft of acting, and he will be missed. People that sent well wishes, that worked alongside him, whereas among within our community was Craig Robinson and Terry Crews. So yeah, he was really beloved and admired and all that. So he will be missed. We'll give him a quick moment of silence before diving into the content this evening on the Narrative Podcast. All right, so, you know, sending love, light, healing energy to the family, friends, and associates and all who knew and worked with our brother Andre Brower. So now let's get to it. What is the Narrative Podcast? What is it about? and what will you be listening to this evening in terms of content. So let's start at the top. Tippy, the name. The Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast The Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original culture. They intentionally portray our people and our culture in a negative light. So what I want to do is design a platform where I'm celebrating our accomplishments and, focusing the lens on our people and our culture through a positive light. So they always play up the negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and within our culture. They intentionally do it, primarily do it for to turn a profit, but they also do it, because there is an agenda. The powers that be owns the media. So, there is some psychological programming and conditioning going on in terms of misrepresenting our people and our culture. Essentially, the powers that be are trying to warp and control the minds of the masses. They're intentionally feeding people false images of our likenesses and our personalities, so they can engage and, react and interact with us a certain way. So like I said, it is an agenda. A little bit later. Next thing I want to focus on about my podcast, you should know my mission statement, or my mission, what I'm trying to accomplish in this space is to bring awareness to all listeners, especially my people, the importance of, sharing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. That's what I would want my takeaway from, anybody who listens to this podcast. I want that to be the biggest takeaway from, my content. If they don't get anything else, get that of, why it's important to share positive content when it comes to our people and our culture. It's important to do so because, like I said, people outside of our culture, they don't get anything but negative frames of reference about our people and our culture. And the adverse effect of, those negative stereotypes and negative stigmas about our people and our culture is that they, form a false perception about who we are as a people. And the number it does on us psychologically is it affects our self-image, the way we perceive ourselves. And the big reason why we normalize things that aren't normal within our culture, why we normalize, violence and degeneracy, is because we've been programmed and conditioned by the media to accept that as a part of our culture. And, also other people outside of our culture, they've been programmed and conditioned to accept that as reality and believe that as well too. So, that's why we have to, share positive frames about reference about our people and our culture. This podcast isn't about caring about what people outside of our culture think about our people and our culture. It's definitely not seeking validation from them. It's basically, I'm coming from the perspective, if you're going to tell our story, tell it correctly. Tell our story from the perspective of that we're kings and queens, gods and goddesses of this universe. That part. And that's what, I want all my listeners to get from my content is, how important it is to share positive frames of reference when it comes to our people and our culture. another misnomer about the Narrative Podcast. On this platform, I refer to our people as original people versus black, because, I feel that's more historic, or I know that's more historically accurate. And it also helps unify us as a people together. And what I mean by that, historically, we were here eons before pretty much every other ethnicity, class, however you want to categorize people. Our presence on this planet preceded everybody. Our presence on this planet predates all religious tract, all forms of history like hieroglyphs, papyrus. We was here first. So contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't evolve from monkeys and primates. We didn't crawl out of no primordial ooze, and we also inhabited originally every single corner of the globe, and we didn't get there via slave boats, especially here in the Americas. Like, we was already originally located here. Mesoamerica, all the Spanish-speaking nations was already there. All parts of Europe was already there. Down under Asia, our existence was already there. So, like, slavery did happen, Middle Passage, chattel slavery, all that. It really did happen. A lot of us, got bought against our will, on slave boats, but that's just, that's a fraction of it. So the unification part of it, why I refer to us, I try to encourage everybody who listens to my platform to, refer to us as original people. I mean, you could refer to whatever you like as, but I'm just telling you why I do it on my platform. It's also, it unifies us as a people, because, people outside of our culture, they all lump us into one big pot anyway. There's several different types of us hailing from so many different, places on earth, speaking so many different languages, believing in so many different things, upbringings, political views, religious views, spiritual views, anything you can separate a people. We have that in our culture, but the one thing that we all have in common as a people, we can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin, and that's not really even up for debate. That's a scientific fact. But like I said, we was here in the Americas first. It is debatable, where the point of origin originally was, but we can all trace our point of origin back to the original place. We were and are the original tribe of man. So that's why I try to, as often as possible, I refer to our people as original people. Another thing, this is a positive space. This entire platform is dedicated to uplifting and edifying my people. So I basically try to stay away from gossip, slander, negativity. I'm not trying to use my platform to, do the work of the oppressor, kick brothers and sisters while they're down if they're already catching it in the media. Like, I'm not going to just, throw my 2 cents in for some clout or whatever. Another thing, speaking of clout, when I bring up famous people's names or something that's happened within our community, a trending topic is not to get or gain clout. It's really to put it in perspective from our perspective, because the media have us looking and sounding crazy. And everything, how I try to frame everything up on the Narrative Podcast is from the perspective of, yes, we have our in-house issues. We need to work on this, that, and the third. But here's why we do this. And I use probably a famous person as an example, or something that's currently going on within our community as an example of the bigger systemic problem we have. If that makes any sense, I put it in perspective from that. Now, what I do on my platform is tell the truth. If I feel like, a famous person is intentionally, irresponsibly using their platform, and got the world looking at us as a people all crazy, I will say something to that regard. But other than that, this space is dedicated to uplifting and edifying our people. Some more stuff. So why I call my target audience my narrators, and for that is because I said I was going to backtrack to it, and I'm backtracking to it now. So the reason for that is because we live in a digital information age. We share everything out online. Everything you can get about an individual is, you gather that intel online. So it's a double-edged sword because, your presence online is basically, your carbon footprint as an individual. People judge you as a person based on, what you're posting online, your thoughts, your values, your beliefs, your hobbies, your interests, like all that. Calculated on, how to perceive you as a person. So on a bigger scale of it, just imagine how we look as a people, knowing that people outside of our culture, all they get is negative frames about reference about people in culture. If we were feeding into these negative stereotypes by sharing these negative stereotypes on our platforms and feeding into the gossip, feeding into all, like drug culture, gang culture, pimp culture, whore culture, if we're feeding into it by, regurgitating it online, people outside of our culture, they're going to think that's the gospel. They're going to think that's, the truth about us. So this is why I tell my people, because why I call my listening audience my narrators, because being that we are in the digital information age, we're in the unique position to tell or narrate our stories based on, what we're posting online. Like, we can't control what people outside of our culture think about us. We can't control what the media puts out about us, but we can control the narrative on our platforms, what type of information we choose to put out. So it's not the end-all, be-all solution to the problem, but it is a productive, progressive solution. Because even though the media is ran by, evil, wicked people who have an evil, wicked agenda, at the core of it, it's a business. It's supply and demand. These Fortune 500 media companies, that's how they gather their intel, their data, and create, content based upon their research based on what people are posting online, based on what people are clicking on online. They'll go and create content to accommodate, the trend that they notice. So we need to create the trends because as a culture, we're the trendsetters anyway. So we need to be telling our stories the way I tell our stories here on my platform, which is, we're kings and queens, guys and goddesses of the universe. We need to be putting out positive content on our platform. So examples of positive content, we should be telling stories about, community activism, us coming together as a community, us excelling financially, academically, us being leaders in the community, us being examples, us overcoming in the face of adversity, not just do what the media does, is just like showing us disenfranchised, downtrodden, and on the bad end of business all the time. So we need to be making ourselves the heroes, on our platforms, because the media is already, vilifying us and trying to, program us to, normalize degeneracy, normalize violence. They're basically trying to desensitize us to it and accept it as normal. So, we can set the standards and we can set the trends, and, they'll eventually start creating content to accommodate that, because we want to be perceived as intellectuals. We want to be perceived as entrepreneurs. We want to be perceived as dignified and perceived as having, decorum and class and grooming, not, degenerates, like lazy and violent and self-destructive and toxic and all that. So that's what I mean when I call my target audience my narrators. So, yeah. Next order of business. This podcast is time sensitive. Oh, wait, I think I glazed over something. So like I said, the media is about supply and demand. So if we keep on exhibiting and displaying a need or a want or an interest in degeneracy, the powers that be, they're going to keep on cranking out degeneracy. So it's up to us to exhibit and display, a need and a want for righteousness. Makes sense? They'll accommodate that need. Okay, next order of business for the Narrator podcast. This is a time-sensitive platform. I never try to exceed 1 hour when I'm broadcasting. And the reason why is because, number one, I'm an audio platform. So I have to keep my listening audience engaged and attentive with the content that I'm delivering. And so I can't do that if I'm boring you to sleep. And the quickest way to bore somebody to sleep is just to talk and talk without a point. So, that's why I try to keep all my broadcasts, no longer than an hour. And then if I do go over an hour, it's just really not by much. Because when I first started, I used to just go. And I figured out that's where I'm losing people, because nobody wants to just sit up here and listen to somebody just talk and talk. So, to make my content concise and keep it digestible is just basically just shoot straight to the point, say what I mean what I say, hit all my speaking points, and, make the knowledge the people, the listeners, you. So that's what I'm doing here. The service I'm providing on the Narrative Podcast, I'm providing digestible, practical knowledge, and basically, I would say I'm the mirror. Just showing our positive self-image of our people and our culture. Holding up the mirror that we're a dutiful people. We're a beautiful people. And, we don't deserve to be misrepresented. And, we're the opposite of how we're portrayed in the media. And I encourage everyone else that listens to my platform to do the same. Because we don't have just a duty to ourselves. We have, a duty to the future generation, our children, who are going to be future leaders. So, let's start now, grooming them to be kings and queens and gods and goddesses. So, spoiler alert, that's a little something else I'm going to talk about. But that's essentially the basics of the Narrative Podcast. Essentially what I'm doing here. My primary mission is to uplift and edify my people and to deliver positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Which brings me to my tagline, the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing this evening is to provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And the way I'm going to be providing the positive frames of reference about our people and our culture is sharing positive news articles that I came across. And the reason why I'm doing it, again, is to share positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And because, we're constantly being bombarded with negativity by the media, and this kind of wreaks havoc on your subconscious, which is by design. It's not an accident. They do this intentionally. So when I'm sharing these articles, I'm just proving the point, positive things happen within our community. We're not all criminalistic by nature. We're not all, deviant by nature. We're not all, psychologically traumatized by nature. This is, when we do have our little flare-ups, it's programming and conditioning behind it. That's not who we are as a people by nature. We only act out in those ways because the nature of our people has been corrupted by the powers that be. And the powers that be control the media. So that's why I'm sharing the positive news articles. And then after I share my positive news articles, I go into commentary on, things happening around the world or things happening within our community. And the reason why I do that is to control the narrative. Because like I said, the media have us looking and sounding crazy. So when I'm commenting on current events, that's me controlling the narrative, unpacking whatever happened either in the world or within our community, from our perspective, so it doesn't come across, cringy. Because the media, when they, break stories about us, they try to make it as cringy as possible. But, so that's essentially what you'll be in for this evening. So without any further ado, diving into the content this Wednesday evening on the Narrative Podcast. With my very first positive frame of reference, it comes to you in the form of an article, and the headline reads, "It's been 7 years since this 15-year-old Memphis teen gets a perfect score on the ACT test and 5.0 GPA. This 2016 grad is a brother by the name of Dwight Moore. He attended Christian Brothers High School in Memphis, Tennessee. Since then, he's been on the 43rd season of Survivor, the television show Survivor. He attended Stanford University and completed an undergrad with a degree in computer science. And he also interned for Google in Somerville, California as a software engineer. So, just a little, when I came across the article, that's just really all it said. It didn't say what our brother Dwight had been up to since he graduated. It just said it was a picture of him him as a grown man. And it said it's been 7 years since this 15-year-old, but it was a picture of him graduating Stanford. So I had to do a little digging to find out what he's been up to since 2016. But, our brother's been up to positive things, and, he's been quoted on into saying, he in his hometown of Memphis, when he goes there, older people tell him that they use him as an inspiration to motivate their children. His accomplishments as a tool of inspiration to motivate their children, and as well as they should be. He says he's flattered and accepts it, and makes him want to try even harder to do greater things to inspire more youth. So, he's doing really positive things, and that's why I shared that article. Let's put our hands together in a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for our brother Dwight Moore and all his accomplishments. We know that brother is going all the way up to the top. He's not even at the ceiling yet. He's going to be doing even more great things this year. But for now, let's give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause to our brother Dwight Moore. Yo, that is real weird that they said he interned for Google. Cause I think they had made a movie about that. Yeah, I think it was called Internship with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. Yeah, there was interning. That's weird. So, I kind of always wanted to be an intern for Google just because I saw that movie. But he actually was. But anyway, here we go to the next article for this evening. Next article for the evening, the headline reads, Black Realtor in DFW area serving her community by helping them sell or purchase homes. And this sister's name is Tawanda C. Gale. She is the leading retail in Dallas, Fort Worth metro area. She provides personalized assistance to her clients' needs. She specializes in all major areas of real estate, including but not limited to luxury and investment properties, residential properties, BPO pricing, and REO properties. She says her mission is to transform the way people engage real estate. She says her focus is not just buying and selling property, but to create lasting relationships with her clients. To find out more about what she's up to, you can hit her up at twandagale.com, or for press inquiries, twanda@twandagale.com. Telephone number 469-431-0756. And the sister's name again is Tawanda C. Gale. So let's give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Tawanda C. Gale and her real estate endeavors. Like, she's teaching people the game, not just buy houses, but she's teaching people how to flip houses and, become home owners. So she's giving them the tools to fish. All right. So next article here on the Narrative Podcast. The headline reads, 2 black professors create curriculum guide for the Montgomery Riverboat Brawl. And the 2 sisters' names are Dr. Linda J. Holloway and Dr. April T. Berry. One sec, because I don't think I got her name all the way right. Linda J.M. Okay, Linda J.M. Holloway is her name. And Dr. April T. Berry. Dr. Holloway is a professor at Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama. Dr. Berry is a clinical director of a nonprofit organization called Vets Recover. And she's also an adjunct at the Alabama State University. They collaborated together to create the Riverboat Study Guide. They created the study guide to provide a creative way for students to have a meaningful conversation about what happened at the Montgomery, Alabama River Brawl. So you can type it in your browser, go right there, and, it'll pop up as a Google Doc. And you can see it. The curriculum is about 50 questions. The last question on the curriculum is like an extra credit question. And this is basically like, elaborate further on, what, challenging the students or whoever takes that class to, use critical thinking to elaborate further on, what happened in that moment. They got things on there such as, define white privilege, give an example of that. They also have a YouTube link on there that addresses the negative stereotype about, black people not knowing how to swim. They also have a poem on there by dang, I just messed all the way up on my notes this evening, guys. Let me see the poem. Who is the poem by? Claude McKay. Yep, it's a poem called If We Must Die by Claude McKay. Which is interesting because Dr. Holloway is a poet too as well, in addition to being a college professor. So, they both wear a lot of hats. And, that moment in history was a teachable moment, and that's precisely what these two college professors did. They took the opportunity to, give reverence and teach in that teachable moment. And, the curriculum's up there for anybody else that wants insight to it. If you got an open mind and you want to learn, people outside of our culture, to know why that went down the way it went down. But I think Dr. Berry has her own website, or Dr. Holloway has her own website, so you can get more insight to her curriculum and everything she got going on. I believe she's at just 1 second. I'm trying to get her website, y'all. I think it's just like a .com one, Linda at something.com. Sorry taking so long. I just think she's got a whole lot of interesting things. I just wanted to put that knowledge out there. Okay, yeah. So for press inquiries, go to Linda Holloway speak at gmail.com. And yeah, just go find out what she's up to, and then also do yourself the hugest favor and just go online and Google the curriculum, and just for nothing else, just fill it out yourself, to help you expand and to broaden your horizon on that moment. Never miss an opportunity to learn is what I always say. But without any further ado, let's give it up for these two sisters, Dr. Linda J.M. Holloway and Dr. April T. Berry and their revoked study guide curriculum. Alabama Riverboat Broad Study Guide curriculum. All right. Last but not least, last article of this evening. Headline reads, 17-year-old Chicago teen just earned her doctorate degree. And the sister's name is Dr. Dorothy Jean Tillman. So Dorothy, Dr. Tillman, has always been a good student. She showed progress in mathematics at an early age. She was doing doubles, timetables, doubles, multiplying, by doubles. She had memorized by age 4. So she's always been a quick study. She's always enjoyed going to school. Always enjoyed receiving good grades and pushing herself to, get good grades. And, school was everything for her. And just, she's always been a good student. And for that, she is now a professor, a doctor, a teacher. See, one more. Gotta look it up again. What does she teach? So she got her doctorate in health solutions, because the article didn't say that, so I had to do a little digging. She obtained a doctor of behavioral health at the Arizona State University. In her research, she focused on the impact of implementing an outreach and education program aimed at reducing the stigma associated with using campus mental health services among college-age students, according to a press release. She also plans to raise awareness of mental health and behavioral health issues within educational institutions and community organizations using her environmental and sustainable science expertise. She is also the founder and CEO of Dorothy Genius STEAM Leadership Institute, which launched Dorothy Genius STEAM Labs in Chicago and South Africa of 2020. Wow. That's big, South Africa. So if I'm not mistaken, STEAM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. That's STEM. I don't know where the A is coming in from. For what the A is, I guess, is architecture, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Okay. So her goal is to create, opportunities for underrepresented groups nationally and internationally. Now, I can get with underrepresented. I can get with that term. I hate the term underserved because that's just a code word for the N-word to me. I hate when I'm reading articles and they be like, when they're doing some type of philanthropy and some type of giving back in the underserved area of, Chicago, or the underserved area of Houston, Texas. It's like, it's only underserved because they refuse to provide the service. But saying that, what was this article saying? Underrepresented, that's a more accurate, adaptation of that instead of saying underserved. That sounds loads better than underserved. So we're rocking with that for the rest of this year and on to 24. So get that. All these people to make up these politically correct, rules to not offend any people. We find as a people the term underserved, we find that derogatory. From now on, when you, referencing our people from not having, a sufficient supply of, say underrepresented. Don't say underserved. Got it? All right. All right. So that'll do it for the articles this evening. That's all I got. This week, but those are the ones that stood out in my mind because to me, in my opinion, all those ones, were stories of, overcoming adversity, providing opportunity, and educating and leading, and, examples of, original people excellence. And that's what I want to share this evening. And that's what I try to share all the time with my content is, us being excellent, us excelling, us dominating, us leading. And that's what, my goal as a narrator is. And I encourage you as a narrator for that to be your goal as well. All right. So I got two topics that I want to talk to briefly. And I'm saying very briefly because I don't do gossip on my platform, and these next two topics, they're very gossipish, have gossip-like, appeal to them. They're trending right now. They've died down a little bit, but it's still pretty much viral, both of these topics that I'm going to touch on this evening. I'm going to just touch on it from the perspective of sensationalism. We as a people, we've been programmed and conditioned to gravitate towards things being sensationalized. We've also been programmed and conditioned. We got to hop on the bandwagon and, promote gossip and promote negativity and promote sensationalism to procure a bag online when you can be positive online and still procure a bag. But we've been programmed and conditioned by the powers to be, like, be negative is the quickest way to the bag. Unpack both of these from that perspective. So my first topic I want to attack tonight is what happened to social media influencer Little James. So James Tucker is his full government, but he goes by the social media handle Little James. He is a 10-year-old young man from Louisiana, and he's been creating content, internet content since age 5, and thing behind his brand that makes him so popular because of his age. He speaks well beyond his years. Like in our culture, we would call somebody like him an old soul, or, we would jokingly say, his mother must have had, a baby by an old man, because that's how mature he acts. in his skits because it's like it's entertaining, but then also like, dang, that's kind of true. It's basically like his whole kids say the darndest thing type vibe to it. So this particular incident, what happened was, again, I'm pointing out the sensationalism behind it. So it's already sensationalized. It was basically like a setup from the Get Up anyway. What happened was they had this social media influencer event. Like, in the world of social media influencing, social media influencers, they collaborate, they do skits together. It's a whole actual community. And you will see, like if you follow a social media influencer, if you watch skits, you will often see, a group of influencers in each other's skits. So it's a collaborative type of community. So they collaborate, they make money together, they do skits. They bounce off ideas for skits to generate clicks and income and, resources. They share, endorsements. They basically network with each other and basically try to get the plug on the plugs. Well, this was like an event. I don't know who was the brainchild behind this particular event. It was called the Bad Boys Prom. And it was a social media extravaganza. And the theme was a prom, a formal prom. Like all the males wore tuxedos, all the females in attendance wore gowns, prom dresses. Now, what went viral was young James Tucker, little James's mother, responsible for his upbringing, dropping it all the way down to the floor, twerking on another social media influencer. So like I said, it was already set up from the get up, a social media mixer. It was a social media mixer. Like everybody in attendance was a social media influencer. Everybody in attendance got their own YouTube channels, their own TikToks. It wasn't for just regular people. It was all, social media influencers. So had the twerking not have happened, something would have happened. Something that would have sparked interest. It would have been something. It would have been like a physical altercation. It would have been some gambling. It would have been some smoking. It would have been some drinking. It would have been something, because whoever organized the event, they was trying to create some type of controversy to get, the clicks for online. So this particular incident involved this young man's mother, and she was bent over, twerking, just throwing it back. I mean, throwing it hard on this other social media influencer. And the young man was present, and he burst into tears. He was crying. He was embarrassed of his mother. Go a little deeper into the story, find out his mother got an OnlyFans account. So he was also getting some ridicule from that, because people was passing around her OnlyFans pictures. So the synopsis of this scenario, of my synopsis, is that his mother kind of wants to distance herself from being a duo with her son and trying to, do her own thing on social media. And unfortunately, in doing her own thing, she wants her body to be her vehicle for doing her own thing. She wants to be an internet baddie, because she's doing the OnlyFans, and so she's basically trying to be, an internet, like a an IG model. She wants to, it seems to me, that's, the avenue where she's trying to, veer off and tread into. Because, with social media influencers, with child stars in general, after they start getting older, they stop being cute, and it's not funny no more. It's not, they're not as cute anymore. You know what I mean? Like social media, like kids in the entertainment industry, and we've watched all of them like online. They had their little phase when, okay, now we got to spice it up. For example, the late Gary Coleman, who was on, Different Strokes. He was the child actor phenom for years, for close to decades. Like, his resume was extensive. He was that cute kid. He got the big cheeks and them cute little one-liners, and had that adult-like banter. But then what happened was, when you become an actual adult, so now you're a little bit more difficult to market, because now you're not cute anymore. So what are you going to play up? And on Different Strokes, when Gary stopped being cute, they got a little Caucasian boy with red hair to be the cute one. Going further back, Brady Bunch, the youngest one, Cindy. When she start coming of age, they got somebody to be the cousin Harold, I think, on the show, on the Brady Bunch. But point being, I think his mother realized, she's sitting back doing the math in her head. It's like, okay, these skits ain't paying the bills no more. Got to do something. I need my own thing. I got to do my own platform. And so, I'm going to go the internet way. I'm going to do the internet baddie way. I'm going to do, the OnlyFans way. And I think she's been trying to plan that for quite a while. And it just so happened it was at this event to be her, launching her what do you call that, diving board, to propel her into that world. And the sad thing is, she didn't try to console her child. She seen he was visibly upset behind her actions. She didn't wipe his tears. She was in the corner laughing. The other influencer that was, I don't even know how to describe it, the twerking recipient, because she was twerking on him. She was throwing it back on him, and he's grinding up into it as she's throwing it back. Just no regard. Like, the only positive thing I can actually say about the event is that his mother was fully covered. It was a formal event. She had a full prom dress on, so you didn't see no butt crack. You didn't see no cleavage. Like, she was fully clothed. That's the only positive thing I can say about that scenario. But like I said, it was a setup from the get up, because it was a social media mixer. So something toxic, something degenerate was bound to happen at that event. And it just so happened that it was that young man's mother that was just sitting up there acting like she ain't had no grooming and just acting like her child's not present. So that's not cool at all. I say it on my platform all the time. Everything has to have a proper context. So I don't got nothing against twerking. I mean, we can go back and forth all we want to. Like, at the end of the day, twerking is a part of our culture. It goes all the way back to, Africa. They have dances, celebratory dances that resemble, twerking, the gyrations of twerking. If we want to do it culturally, right here in America. So we can't put it all on this generation, like in the 60s and the 70s. They had this dance called Doing the Dog. And Doing the Dog was like similar gyrations. So you can't put it all on this, generation, like all they do is twerk. No, ain't nothing new under the sun. So they was doing it in the 60s and 70s too. But anyway, what we've always had as a people is dignity and decorum. And this internet seems to be robbing us of our dignity and decorum because the powers that be are rewarding us with the bad for lewd, crass, degenerate behavior. Like we're rewarding buffoonery. We're rewarding lewdness. Like females out here being lewd and disgusting with their body is out here winning, securing major bags. And meanwhile, females trying to maintain a wholesome, pristine image of, maintain womanhood and femininity, they struggling in the industry. And it's not just in hip hop culture, it's just in the culture, period. But yeah. So my final comment, I got behind that, it's about sensationalism. The event was a social media influencer, like networking session. It was like a pretty much televised. There was you streaming the event. So it's like all in attendance were content creators. So it's unfortunate that young man had to see his mother like that in rare form, but it does, it kind of answers some questions. Like the internet's been having questions about that for years, about why does he talk so grown? And now we see why he talks so grown. Somebody got to be the adult. Because clearly, this wasn't the first time his mother dropped the ball on adulting. Like clearly he's been seeing this all of his life. Clearly. And like I said, I'm not, this isn't a platform where I'm, gossiping or trying to put the sister down, but, it is what it is. We saw what we saw. She did what she did. And she has to pay for that for the rest of her life. Her son is forever scarred. So, I don't know what 24 is going to hold for little James Tucker and his mom. Only time to tell. If she had any class, was any type of adult, she would apologize to her son. She doesn't owe the general public an apology. But, she should release a statement to let, or if it was a skit, she need to let everybody in on the joke now, if it was a skit. But, yeah. Even if it was a skit, it doesn't excuse her behavior. Because you can say no, you can be discriminatory. You don't have to do everything that you're presented with. You don't have to take every single bag. All money ain't good money. Now, speaking of money, which brings me to my next topic here on the Narrative Podcast. A brother that hit the industry like the social media platform like a tornado, Tasmanian devil. He's been tearing it up on social media. He's never not had a viral moment. Like his whole existence, his whole career has been viral moment after viral moment after viral moment. Some positive, but mostly negative. And the brother's name is Charleston White. So recently, it was again sensationalized. In addition to being a social media influencer, he's also a comedian. He says he has activism roots. He said he was doing, activism within the community, working with teens, trying to get certain policies pushed and doing the work before he became a social media influencer. And, he's scrutinized for his blunt way of how he puts things. And a lot of people critique him and say, he's an industry plant. He never has nothing good to say about his own people. He's always causing some type of controversy, some type of trouble, saying something flipped, saying something disrespectful. And I would say, just from my synopsis, he's telling the truth. And the thing about the truth is ugly. The truth is ugly, and a lot of things he says about our favorite entertainers are true. His words is real. His delivery is really harsh. I don't agree with every teeny tiny thing he says. So I'm like y'all, when he says something truthful, it's truthful. He speaks the truth. But then when he goes off on his little tangents, talking about killing people and talking about, he had a little back and forth with T.I.'s son a while ago. He had a back and forth with Boosie Badass's son. And so when he does that back and forth with the youth, he's supposed to be an activist. I can't get behind that. Now, how he interacts with other grown men, that's a different conversation. Now, at this comedy show, he was getting heckled, and the heckler decided to get up on stage and try to physically assault him. Now, on the video, we seen he succeeded, but then the next day, he did a voice says, showing his face, no puffiness, no redness, no scarring, no signs of he's been hit in the face. But he might not have got hit in the face. He might have took some body blows. I don't know. Or the whole thing could have been contrived. And with somebody like Charleston White, it probably most likely is cap. One thing about the brother, I will say, he's honest. You can say a whole lot of stuff about him. He is honest though. So when he's capping, he lets the world know he's capping. He don't try to hide when he's capping, when he's trying to, push the numbers. We done seen it online. He said when, he been in interviews, why you talk about so-and-so and so-and-so? Oh, shit, man, shit. Slow week, man. Slow week. But yeah, for the most part, it's just sensationalism, it's internet cap, it's internet hype. Nothing really to get your jaws in the knot about coming from him. It's just, he's one of them people, take it or leave it. You can take it or leave it. I don't believe he's an industry plant, and I don't believe he has an agenda to, throw his own people under the bus. Because if you've really been watching him online, when he gets on them folks' platforms and then folks ask him about us and why do black people do this and black people he'll say something really shocking to draw them in, but then he'll flip it to let them know you guys are the problem. That's why they do this and that, because they don't have the resources to do this and that, because you guys have been withholding the resources and X, Y, and Z. And the biggest reason why people don't like him, because again, he comes after a whole lot of our favorite rappers, a whole lot of our favorite actors and comedians. And, some of it is just mean and uncalled for, but some of it is very truthful, the things that he's saying about their music or about their art form. If they're doing jokes, you know what I mean? So some of it's very truthful. And like I said, the truth hurts. And most of the people that react to him, you gotta say, hit dogs don't holler. If that ain't the truth with your situation, why you reacting that way? Why you letting them get under your skin if that's not no type of truth what he's saying? You feel me? So it's like he's a take it or leave it type brother. He got his brand out there. If you don't like what he's doing, you got the option not to, pay him no attention. You got the option not to respond to nothing that he says. I also believe he's effed up, but he's fair. He said on many accounts he don't single nobody out. He hates everybody. Said in the interview, yeah, homie, I hate everybody. I hate everybody. I don't like nobody. I hate niggas. I hate Jews. I hate white boys. I hate Asians. I hate everybody. I hate dogs. I hate cats. I hate nigga. I hate everything. Yeah. Yeah. For real. He said it he hates everything. How can you be offended knowing he ain't he's being super transparent. He's putting it out there. You don't like nobody. You don't got friends. I'm here for the bag. I'm here for the check. Yeah, I talk a lot of mess, and that's all it is. It's a whole lot of mess. How smart do you look getting offended from something coming out of my mouth after I already told you what I'm here for? So that's on you if you want to, waste your time doing interviews, responding to him when he already put it out there what he's there for. But like I said, all of what he says isn't lies. He's not way off base with everything he says. Some of it, hits real close to home. And I think he's everybody, our culture's fat picture. Everybody, our child, he's our childhood picture. Everybody got that childhood picture that they hate, they wish they never took it. What was I thinking right here? If you had a weight problem, he's the fat picture. If you had an acne problem, he's your acne picture. If you had if you had a big head or just, built bad, he's the big head picture, the bad body picture when you was going through your awkward phase. You know what I mean? Got that image burnt in you and you can't escape it because that's a part of you. And it did happen. And I think he makes a whole lot of us uncomfortable because he's talking about things within our community, our in-house issues that, we as a people, we do have to take accountability for. And he makes it, He makes awkward moments even more awkward because some of the stuff, he ain't lying. You know, a lot of stuff that happens in our community is because of the lyrics in hip hop. A lot of stuff in our community is because we idolize cowards. People that do drive-by shootings are cowards. You know, they can endanger the lives of innocent people that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, and you just sit up there and spray up the block and spray up somebody's house and not even get the person that you was mad at. So he's blunt and honest and to the point. He's aware of all his flaws and shortcomings. So I don't believe that, you know, he's a plant sent by, you know, them folks, even though he says, you know, he's an avid police caller and he wants to set up a whole lot of people. He want his you know, goal to send people to jail. Like, I hope a nigga do so I can call the police on you. Like, he says that for shock value. And we got a whole lot of, you know, people in that genre of entertainment that say things for shock value. Because before Charleston White, we had when Charlemagne the God was in his prime, Charlemagne the God, we had people like Ebro, we had people like before them, Star, before that, you know, we had Wendy Williams. So like we've had our shock people that just do and say stuff for shock value. And then of course a new one, what is the guy's name? The DJ, Academics. So, you know, like pay attention to people that do shock value. Like how much stock do you want to take in it? Like how much stock you take in a person like that is entirely up to you. You can take it or you can leave it. But to sit up there and trade jazz with them online or, you know, try to prove your case if he's just talking out the side of his neck and you don't know what he's talking about, why are you wasting your time addressing it? That's all I'm saying. Why waste time addressing it if he ain't hitting on nothing? Because he already said it's his mission to intentionally irritate you to say something. So why take the bait? But those are my only two topics I had to talk about this evening. I guess I got a little bit of time. So, well, one more thing I do want to talk about right quick before I leave for this evening. I guess I want to talk about, you know, the holiday season. So this, like, it's Christmas and it's just getting ridiculous. I can't tell you not to celebrate Christmas. If you've already got your lights up, if you're, you know, enthralled with Christmas traditions, like kissing under the mistletoe, doing the tree, doing the buying gifts and giving it to people. Like, listen, as a people, that's the last thing we need to be celebrating is Christmas. Because we got some of us sitting up in here debt right now that went into credit card debt purchasing gifts. So you can have gifts under your tree for a holiday that wasn't even designed for us. Something that we got indoctrinated into. And then it supersedes religion because it don't even, you know, say nothing in this, you know, Holy Bible that you read, nothing about it or what it actually says about it. If you read your Bible, it's an abomination and you shouldn't be celebrating it. You worshiping idols. That Christmas tree is an idol. Them ornaments is an idol. Now that text you pride yourself in following as a Christian tells you not to. And you blatantly do it. That nativity scene, idol. That's an idol. There ain't no, nothing, no historical dates that say Christmas is December 25th and is celebrated by giving gifts. Nothing. And no religious text anywhere. As a matter of fact, if you do your history about the Christmas tree, you would know like people back in the day, they used to, where that tradition even came from was war. People used to hang severed heads on pine cones or on pine trees. Like, do your history and look at what you're celebrating. Our people especially, because we running out of time. We can't be sitting up here and keep on, and keep on participating in activities that's fostering our destruction. This is keeping us financial, stuff like that, just wasteful spending. Like you go get a big $400, $500 dinner, can only eat like 2 or 3 days worth of the leftovers, and then you got to throw that all away. Either give it away to the homeless or throw it all away so it don't go rotten. I mean, give it away so it don't go rotten, but you definitely can't eat it all within a week. Like on the 4th day, you shouldn't be eating leftovers. So that's like almost $1,000 on the holiday dinner. Then the gifts, then the ornaments and the decorations. And for what? For one day that we ain't supposed to be celebrating no way? When you could be using them thousands of dollars on Christmas to building your own business, to building your community, to doing something for your child to make them more successful, doing something for yourself to make you more successful. That's ridiculous. And we just sitting up there just looking like Bobo the Fool, regurgitating activity that we've been, doctrinated into following. So I ain't trying to crap in nobody's cornflakes. If you like caroling, if you like, sipping on the eggnog, then that's cool. But like this wasteful spending, this glorification of idols and symbols, that's crazy. Like, we got to break this generational curse. Like, you should, if you got children, you should take your children to the homeless shelter and serve the homeless and bring some gifts up there to like a soup kitchen. Do that for Christmas. If you really want to celebrate the air quotes true meaning of Christmas, like we should be treating each other like that all year round anyway. Why we got to wait to Christmas to be decent towards somebody? To not be a a-hole towards somebody. You wait till Christmas. Well, it's Christmas. I ain't going to do you dirty like that on Christmas. Don't do people dirty like that all year round. That's who we are as a people. We righteous all year round. Our true nature as a people. Not just on Christmas. But anyway, that's all the points that I want to make this evening. Thanks for listening to another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. You can download this episode, all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. So I broadcast 2 times during the week. Once during the weekend. I broadcast every single weekend without fail. That's my normal broadcast day for the Narrator podcast. I just recently started doing weekdays in order not to miss me when I'm broadcasting during the weekday. You can follow me on YouTube, Halsey Allen, on YouTube, and you subscribe and hit the notification bell on your YouTube channel, and you'll never miss me when I'm uploading or broadcasting a live episode of the Narrator podcast. And then also on X, formerly Twitter, because the platform that I'm on broadcasts to those 2 mediums whenever I'm doing a live episode of the Narrative podcast. So you follow me either on YouTube or X, formerly Twitter, and you will never miss me when I'm broadcasting live, because you'll get your notifications. So it's Halsey Allen on YouTube and Halsey Allen on X, formerly Twitter. What else I got going on? Oh yeah, I've written a book titled The Black Card that's available on poetizer.com. The Black Card is a 30-page book of poetry. It's an all-comprehensive look of who we are as a people and all our experiences. A survival book, if you will. It'll make a great coffee table read, great travel book, something to snuggle up with this holiday season. Do yourself a huge favor. Go get you your copy of The Black Card on poetizer.com. Purchase The Black Card today or get your Black Card revoked. Also, last but not least, I got a poetry blog called Hallzies Poetry Corner. It's at www.mrhallziesblogs.com. You can go get www.mrhallziesblogs.com. You can go and get your lost my train of thought. www.mrhallziesblogs.com. You can go to like to help me share it. You can go basically share my poems either on across all platforms. The link or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms, and share it that way. And then what was I saying? Oh yeah, you can share the either the link to Hallzies Poetry Corner or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms, and that'll help me immensely. So my poetry blog is basically poems that I spontaneously write in the moment. I don't plan what I'm going to write. It's just like really creative. If you like poetry or are looking to get into poetry, you can definitely go to my personal poetry blog and find a poem that you can identify with. To be written spontaneously, my subject matter is super intricate. You would think that I was like thinking about what I'm going to write, what subject I'm going to write about, but they're spontaneous and in the moment. You will love them poems. Go check them out. Hallzies Poetry Corner on blogger.com at www.mrhallziesblogs.com. Remember, share either the link or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner across all platforms. My tagline is Hallzies Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read one, you will find out why. And that's it. It's been another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. Join me this weekend for a full edition of the Narrator Podcast. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast. That's it and that's all. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm asking you out there in listening land to join me in my quest by becoming narrators. And while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time, you can change the narrative one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off, and it's like that.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.